Load. Right, welcome everybody. We are back again Friday night. Tom Name's Paranormal Mysteries. Again joined by co-host Nick and again special guest Adam Hefty. Tonight we are doing horror movies 2. If you was on last week, we spoke about more like the slasher side of horror movies, the true stories based on them, like Ed Gein and the Chainsaw Massacre, things like that. So this week we're going more into the paranormal, the more creepy side of horror movies like Paranormal Activity, The Conjuring, all that kind of good stuff. But first of all, I think Nick, you got some news, my friend. You want to drop it in there?
Well, I'm sure you guys pretty much know that for the last couple of days, I've been now. I know I mentioned before I was working on the audiobooks for a course called New American Folklore that's owned by Cemetery Gates Media. And throughout this week, I've uploaded several stories, already up to 8 already, soon 9. I'm already working on 9 already. And it's really my debut in the audiobook series. And I have to admit, I'll have to give Adam as an influence for me to basically do this. That's why I approached you. When I saw what you did with Scary Stories True to Terror, I thought, you know what, I got to do this too.
Dude, thank you so much. I'm blushing. You can't tell because I'm washed out because of the light, but I'm blushing, man. Thank you so much, brother. I thank you.
How many more have you got to do, Nick?
Well, in total, there's 20 stories, but there's one I'm leaving out, which is called what was that? Oh, a casket for my mother. The reason why I'm leaving that one out is because that was actually featured in a previous book from Cemetery Gates Media called At the Cemetery Gates, Volume 1. So I'm saving that one. So total, it's really 19. So I'm almost halfway there.
Happy days. I say, guys, if you haven't checked him out yet, Nick, he's got a cracking voice for these topics. Like, it's certainly worth checking out. We will put the link to his media content at the end of this video for you to all check out. And Adam, have you had anything going on this week, mate, or just been another busy working week, mate?
I got to work tomorrow, but tonight at about I'd say probably about 2 hours after we get finished here, I have on my channel, I'm doing a spicy challenge video with a friend from Colorado and a friend from around Seattle, Washington. It's basically a half-pound bar of dark chocolate with peanut butter and toffee, 8 squares, but there's about 30 Carolina Reapers in the bar. And you have to do it. You have to take like 2 minutes on each square, and you can't eat or drink anything during it. And then, so it's gonna be interesting. So that's what I'm choosing to do with my evening.
I might even stay up really late tonight just to watch that.
Yeah. Well, if you got to go to bed, brother, it's going to be on the channel. It'll be there. So, but yeah, I'd love to see you there, but don't stay up on my account. I'm not worth it.
Yeah, I'll probably be on my way to
Do you like spicy things?
Yes, very much. Very much.
Me too.
Yeah,
I have a very high tolerance. In fact, the hottest thing I've been able to eat so far, a friend of mine, he has a YouTube channel, Luther the Great. His name is Neil. He makes tinctures. He grows his own peppers. Dude is like an alchemist, but he has a 16 million Scoville heat unit extract basically, and I did 9 drops of that on my tongue and several other hot tinctures in one of his live streams one day. So I kind of have a penchant, and for whatever reason, the gastrointestinal system to be able to handle that kind of stuff. all those videos are on the channel. If you want to go check them out and see me just in pain, or it's on there.
I mean, hats off to you, mate. I couldn't do that. I've done one killing challenge when I was back in school, and I ate 4 Scotch bonnets, and I was being sick.
Oh, those are great. Those got a good kick to them. Scotch bonnets, they have a very nice flavor to them, but.
Oh God.
I've heard of one. I don't know whether it's true, but it's one called I think it's called like the Devil, and it was supposed to be the hottest one going for a long, long time. I think it's been beaten now.
Well, there was the ghost pepper up until recently, within the past few years, where there was a gentleman by the name who I was lucky enough to meet at his store in South Carolina recently. His name is Ed Curry, I'm sorry, and he basically invented the Carolina Reaper, which sits as the hottest pepper in the Guinness Book of World Records at about 1.5 million to 2 million Scoville units. And then there's other hybrids you can get there, but as far as just goes, it's crazy.
Well,
Quite safe.
yeah, I was gonna say like good luck to you tonight. I mean,
Thank you.
You might be needing the toilet.
Yeah, well, like I said, I have to work in the morning, so this is going to be a very interesting evening for me.
Oh yeah.
But we will say on our end, just a couple of points before we get into the meat of it all. We are officially now working for a cracking company called Haunting Nights. They are, thank you very much. They are a ghost hunting company in the UK. Unfortunately, due to the stuff going on, not going to go there. It's not running obviously at the moment, but hopefully, fingers crossed, mid-March things should start picking up, and they'll be starting to rebook and get cracking with it. And hopefully, you'll see us out there on some of the nights with you. But yeah, please check them out on their website. They're called Haunting Nights. The emblem's in the top corner of your screen. Best company in the UK by far, I would say. Best company. Also, another quick point: we have just purchased 2 more dolls today. We're going a bit nuts.
Not on my choosing, by the way.
I was off work today, so I got bored and I bought dolls.
This is Valentine's.
That's awesome.
We will go into their information a bit more when they come, but they are apparently very active.
Really?
One of them has 2 witches attached to it.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting. And the apparently the other one, she likes to touch things, move things. She likes to interfere with TVs.
Like technology, yeah.
She loves technology, so
it's going to
be interesting. But they're on their way. Apart from that, we'll just...
I'm officially finished. I've got a week off.
You've got a week off.
Yeah! Good for you. Good for you.
Oh,
You
God.
did.
But yeah, so tonight we are talking of horror movies and the true stories based around them. Hi EVPS, hi everyone in the chat. If you've got anything you want to mention, please do. More dolls. Yes, we have got more dolls than Lou. Unfortunately, we are going to end up like a new haunted house around here.
Might as well have our own doll shop.
We might as well. Like we've got a cabinet for them, but the cabinet is already full, so I don't know where I'm going to put these 2.
Need another one.
Oh God! But yeah, so tonight we'll kick it off with a film I can't say I've seen, but The Conjuring. Now, The Conjuring, I'll give you a bit of information on The Conjuring. It was based on, the first one was based on the true experiences of Ed and Lorraine Warren, of when they were exorcising demons from 2 possessed families. They maintain, obviously up until their deaths, unfortunately, that all events depicted in the film were true. It did actually occur. Lorraine was actually a consultant on the film, and so she did not let the directors take any more dramatic license than necessary. So she was actually there to actually make sure it was true to story. It does base around the Perrin family, who moved into what is known as the Old Arnold Estate in 1970. Almost immediately after moving in, they had paranormal activity in the likes of moving furniture, doors opening and closing, disembodied sounds, and even being pushed and pulled and hurt by unseen spirits. Now, one of these spirits was actually called Bathsheba, who's in the film, I believe. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, she is.
And apparently Bathsheba was preying on them, and she was actually a woman who lived in the property in the 1800s, and she was a suspected Satanist, and was actually charged for the violent murder of her first child. So that is the facts as I know around it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've managed to pull up about The Conjuring. Have you guys seen it? Have you? What's your thought of the film?
Nick, I was going to say, I've seen it like once. And Nick, I think this is right up your alley, brother.
Yeah, I actually saw it when it came out in theaters, now almost 10 years ago. So, I've seen it a couple other times too. It's pretty unique for a film because when I first saw it, I thought it was just going to be like your typical haunted house film. And while part of that is true, they really tried to really detail a lot of what was going on. But however, in spite of what you see in the film, there are some differences, in real life. In the real life case compared to the movie. Like, probably one of the best documentaries they actually did an episode on Paranormal Witness shortly after the release of the movie. They interviewed the actual family members. They talked. They interviewed most of them. They got to interview the parents who are still alive today, along with at least 3 of the daughters, including Andrea Perrone, who's actually the one who speaks most, who goes to most of these events or shows and speaks out. So she's like the most active member. And one of the primary differences compared to the film was, like, there's a scene in the film when the mother went to go to one of the presentations of the Warrens, like, to see what they were talking about, and they approached them for help because they had a lot of issues going on in their house. And sorry, my cat just jumped up. Yeah, she's on my lap. In reality, that's not actually what happened, because somehow word got about the hauntings that was going on in their house in Harrisville, Rhode Island, and the Warrens literally just showed up right at their house one day. Like, they didn't know who they were at that time. They had no idea that they were dealing with. They were having basically the most famous paranormal investigators in the world at that time. So they came basically without notice. I'm trying to think of some of the other things, but that was one of the primary examples that the film was not completely accurate with what really happened.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting, but not entirely outside of, what you'd expect, because it's never going to be a shot for shot or scenario for scenario recreation.
Right. And the other difference about The Conjuring is that although Bathsheba in the film is portrayed as like the main antagonist, in reality, she was just, the real Bathsheba was just as malevolent, but there were actually other spirits in this house that were even worse than she was, because this house definitely had a whole list of people who lived and died in that house throughout its over almost 160-year history. It was built back in 1863 during the Civil War. So you can imagine the time when it was built up to up until the Perrone family moved in. You just can't help but think how many deaths occurred in or around that house and the property itself.
Absolutely.
I've actually got a few of those deaths here. There was...
Oh, God, is he prepared for that as well?
I'm ready.
See? That's this guy. He's
got it.
I know.
Carolyn, who lived there, she researched the house, and it was owned by a family for 8 generations. Many of them died mysteriously. Children drowned in the nearby creek. One was murdered, and a few even hung themselves in the attic.
Yep, there were suicides.
So, no wonder the place is haunted.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, it's like a curse almost. It's like a curse in some way, because it's one of those kind of situations that anybody that walks, it's like that crosses into the threshold of this house, it's like they're infected with this curse, and they die. Either they're murdered, or they commit suicide, or die mysteriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think we watched tonight. If you guys haven't seen it, we've just started watching it. There's a new documentary out on Netflix, which around that sort of thing, called the Cecil Hotel. The true story behind Lisa Lamb going missing, and they were saying there as well about the same, whoever seems to walk into that building doesn't leave in a positive atmosphere. Always negative things happen, and it's the same sort of thing. It's almost like these places, like the Conjuring House, and that it's something there is manifesting this such high levels of negative energy that it's causing these disturbing things to happen to you, like people being killed or suicide, drugs problems, all these kind of things. And it's a good documentary. We're halfway through, aren't we, at the moment on Netflix?
Yeah.
It just got released yesterday, I believe, or the day before. It is really interesting. It's worth checking out.
What is it called?
What's it called actually? The actual just search. We just searched Cecil Hotel on Netflix.
Oh, the Cecil Hotel. Yeah, I know what that is. Yep.
Yeah, and then just literally, it's a documentary on it. Matt watched it yesterday. Seemed like a magnet for horrible things, and it is.
Oh yeah.
That'll have to be some weekend watching. That might have to be a Sunday thing.
To ruin it for everyone, but it is. We're halfway through, and it is. You don't take your eyes off the screen. It's really interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out because, like I said a couple weeks ago. Sorry. Go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry.
No, sorry, no, it's not you. No, carry on, Nick. Sorry, my screen just went on a different thing.
No, what I was going to say was, no, that's going to be something I'll have to definitely check out because I know we spoke about it a couple weeks ago, and not to mention, like we also said, it was also featured on as the main location for American Horror Story Hotel season 5.
Which, funnily enough, brings us quite smartly onto our next one. You're reading my mind. You're getting too good at this. Hang on, Amy, just stop clicking buttons, please. This is probably got two people on a computer. What are you trying to do for it?
Hi, Indigo.
Hi, Indigo. Everyone check out Indigo. A very lovely lady on Facebook, Indigo CRS, and on Instagram. She was on our podcast. If you want to check her out on our YouTube, she's got some very interesting things she talks about. Very into a medium side of things and tarot readings, and that is brilliant. And she actually brought out some very interesting information for us, didn't she?
Yeah, especially about the dog.
Yeah, so please check her out. She's very good. So yeah, American Horror Story. I keep divulging. I'm sorry, this is so small, that picture, but that is the American Horror Story. I'll bring up a few more as we're talking about it, but this is obviously yours, Adam's, and probably Nick's expertise more than mine.
So which one are we going on about first?
Whichever you want. American Horror Story.
Yeah, this is the Amy show at this part. I'm very interested.
I'll take a back seat now and let Amy do the talking.
Oh, thanks. How about we talk about the first one, the murder house?
Sure.
Yeah, so could you bring up the first picture of the Black Dahlia, please?
Yes, boss.
Oh, the Black Dahlia, yeah.
I get my orders.
You're a smart man, Tom. You live longer that way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One thing I'll say is she's an absolutely beautiful lady.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so Murder House is obviously the first one that came out in the season, and it was definitely a showstopper for everyone that was watching. I mean, when it first came out, I was so hooked straight away seeing it. I don't know about you, Adam, but it was down to the music, how it just grasps you straight away. But yeah, the first thing in the Murder House, they actually have the Black Dahlia, which is obviously a true story. Nasty things really happened. It was suggested a creepy dentist raped the aspiring actress and then let her ghost mutilate her as well.
Disgusting.
Yeah, wasn't really nice. He was supposed to be doing, I think, dentistry work to her teeth, knocked her out with the gas, raped her, and then cut her up, and then disposed of her body. And it just so happens that a boy and the mother found the body just by chance, and that's obviously how they obviously discovered her. I think it was really hard as well to actually tell who she was at the time, because I think he kind of
gave her the smile.
It's called a Glasgow smile.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So it wasn't really nice, but he also drained her blood, and it was on the 15th of January 1947. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, 1947, correct.
Yeah. But yeah, so that depicts that first thing already, true story wise, in the Murder House. What was your take on it, Adam? How did you find the first season?
I was honestly excited to see a horror show that kind of, because FX had a lot of really good shows on it before, like real gritty dramas like The Shield, and some other shows, and so I was very excited, and especially since I knew it was supposed to be like an anthology deal where every season would be a little something different. I thought the acting in it was absolutely phenomenal. It was super creepy, and it started a tradition of carrying over actors to play into subsequent series, which I thought was not only a genius move, but because they probably saved a lot of money on just being like, okay, so you're going to play this part now, forget who you were in that one. But the music was absolutely stellar. I mean, the boom, boom, boom. I don't want to get a claim on your channel, but it was just very engrossing. And I just thought it was very well done. The set design, the neighbor's daughter, who appeared in several other iterations. I thought she was absolutely phenomenal. I honestly can't say enough good things about that show.
No, it was really obviously how diverse they were with their characters, because obviously she has Down syndrome.
Down syndrome, yes.
It kicked off her career straight away for her, I think, personally. The amount of characters she played, because obviously she was in the Coven and she was one of the witches.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was absolutely, like you say, brilliant how they let the characters keep going into the different seasons.
Mm-hmm.
What a way to actually showcase that they can have different roles. They don't necessarily have to have that particular role.
Be pigeonholed. They have a very broad range of acting they can do. No, I agree wholeheartedly, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's something that actually inspired me when I was doing my degree, when I was doing art. It was the music is what inspired me to create all my kind of sadistic artwork, shall we say.
Yeah.
But yeah, Black Dahlia. Is there any other information that you think of, Nick, around Black Dahlia?
Well, the Black Dahlia case, it's although it basically drew the exact same way like how her dismembered body was discovered, to this day they really don't actually know who committed the murder, because no one was ever charged with it. Now, however, there is one possible suspect pretty much around the same time, over 10 years prior to the Black Dahlia murder. But also there were similar murders like this between the 1920s up to the 50s. There was actually a murder, a series of murders that occurred in the state of Ohio. He was known as the Cleveland Butcher, and most of the victims were drifters, and during the Depression era, and a lot of their bodies were found almost the same exact way. The only difference is some of the heads were missing and they were never found. So when the Black Dahlia murder occurred, they thought that, well, could this be the same killer? Because it looks just like the murders that occurred out in Ohio. And the Cleveland Butcher, just like the Black Dahlia, they never did identify who the Cleveland Butcher is. In fact, to this day, case is still open.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, I watched it only on. We watched Ghost Adventures, where they go into obviously the Black Dahlia, what happened, and even just with them describing like what actually happened to her, it turned my stomach something rotten.
I just
when I see these, maybe I've got weak stomach, or I'm just bloody. I don't know. I'm a bloody fanny or something, but. I just, when I hear these things and like what people can do to somebody else, and it just,
if you really want a stomach turner, there is a wonderful podcast called The Last Podcast on the Left, which I absolutely adore those guys. I don't know if have you guys heard of it at all?
I haven't heard of it.
It's a comedian named Henry Zabrowski, I believe. Or Zabrowski, and Ben, who is it was a Fox News reporter and this information gatherer. And what they do is they get around and they tell stories about true life, serial killers, murderers, stuff like that. They run the gamut from hauntings to UFOs and stuff like that. So if you ever really want to hear a stomach turner, there's an episode about Pee Wee Gaskins. And if you really don't want to listen to the podcast and you just want to look it up, go ahead and Google Pee Wee Gaskins, Gaskins, and you're welcome in advance. slash I'm sorry.
The last thing on the Dahlia, what I think is really sick as well is the fact that you can actually Google search.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It's horrific.
Yeah,
But I've just
It's
read,
brutal.
it is. It's disgusting. Like,
I've just read here though that in 2014, retired homicide detective Steve Hondo produced evidence that his own father was the killer. So
Really?
yeah, just read that 2014. Yeah.
and so child homicide detective Steve Hoddle produced evidence that his own father was a killer. What's the produced evidence?
That's what I was interested in. That's only 7 years ago. That's not a whole long time ago. Huh.
That now
That'd be-
makes me.
If there's any more information on that, then please let us know.
Yeah,
Yeah, check it out. Steve Hondo.
Sorry, Nick.
No, that now makes me question, like what I just mentioned about the Cleveland torso murderers. Could he have also been responsible for those too? Because those, I should have been a little bit more specific. Those murders occurred between 1935 and 1938, so about almost 10 years before the Black Dahlia. And they actually did suspect, because of the way how the cuts were so clean, they were thinking that this guy had to either been a butcher or a doctor. So
Yeah.
that makes me wonder, could he have been responsible for those murders up in Cleveland, Ohio, 10, 15 years earlier?
It's
Never
crazy.
trust a butcher.
Yeah. Yes, Adam. Got something to tell us?
No, that's no.
Yeah, I don't know. What people can do to other people,
Yeah.
it's shocking. And to know that they've
I
got
think
away
he
with
went-
it and they're still out there somewhere.
I think he went far
Yeah.
enough to rape. Didn't need to do the extra bit
Just
on the
even
end.
just
Yeah.
like
That's
that.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
no sympathy for those kind of people whatsoever.
no. And I think that's scarier than like monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, is that these creeps
Human beings.
are real.
Yeah.
There are real people out there that do this. And it's funny, you work in retail. Everybody here has pretty much worked at retail at some point or another, worked at a store. We've had customers that you've interacted with. And my brother actually brought it up the other day. He was like, you ever sit there and think, like, did I just serve steak, or did I just sell this T-shirt or this something to somebody who could quite possibly have somebody tied up in their basement or closet, and you would never know.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I had someone, not a murderer. I'll tell you that. No.
I was like, oh boy.
Oh,
But I had someone
here
who
we go.
he was involved with a lot of well, he used to be a good friend of mine. When I hung out with him, this was before he did. Now I know he's never coming over because the only way I'm just going to put it is he did some really inappropriate things that I found out about 2-3 years ago that occurred, and because of that, he's not allowed over here anymore. In fact, he now lives in Indiana, and by law, he cannot leave the state of Indiana without the state's permission. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, he really committed a really bad. Like I said, he really committed a pretty bad crime, and unfortunately, I have a friend of mine who wants to date him, which I think is just a terrible idea. So, I seriously.
Cause sure.
What? I told her, no matter what, it's fine. You can go date him, but he's not coming over here. That's
Like you say that, I have a friend back in the army. I won't obviously go into what he did, but I was good friends with him going through basic training and that. He was such a nice guy. I know nothing about it. It was only when you obviously leave basic training, you go to your separate units.
Yeah.
And I found out through like word of mouth what this guy did, and I was horrified. Immediately cut ties with this guy. Like I couldn't believe it. Like,
and it's funny you said that, Tom. You gave the response that like most people, I think we might have even talked about this last week, that most people, when they find out that their next door neighbor was that guy, it's like, oh, he was such a nice guy.
You don't.
And it was just, you don't expect it. Exactly. Yeah.
Honestly, like I shared the room. He was in the bunk opposite me for the whole time for basic training, and I would never have put it past him. Like never. It was never something to do that kind of thing, but he did, and he
same thing with
but I'll tell you.
Same thing with this friend of mine. This guy I used to hang out with. I honestly thought we were going to become best friends, but unfortunately, it didn't work that way. And this was someone who I met back when I was in high school. So, 10 years ago, over 10 years ago now, this would have been someone I never would have thought would have been capable of committing such a crime like that.
It's mad, and it just shows you like you don't know what people get up to in their private lives, like
Yeah.
some horrific things. But anyway, we're divulging a little bit.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You know, topical law. Let's face it.
That's it, and it was good to have a good chat about all sorts, isn't it?
Yes.
So the next one we are going to go on to is obviously a big one that resonates with us.
Are you going to give me a break now?
And what we do? Yeah, I'll give you a break. You can. It's obviously Annabelle.
Annabelle.
Now,
You can't do a thumbnail with not actually mentioning Annabelle.
yes, so you've got Annabelle, the first one, Annabelle the Creation, and Annabelle Comes Home. It was a trilogy. I'll quickly read you a bit about what it is. Annabelle is a doll that is believed to be imbued with an evil spirit, which is while the real life Raggedy Ann doll, which is at Ed and Lorraine Warren's occult museum. I shouldn't have had a drink.
Cheers.
Creepy. It basically says, yeah, I should be on the water. I should definitely be on the water.
Well, just don't drink at all.
So basically, it says the story of the doll begins in 1970 when a nurse received it as a birthday gift from her mother. She soon began to notice that the doll would change positions by itself.
Oh, welcome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Oracle. Thank you for joining us. She then started finding creepy notes around the house, like it said "help me" and stuff like that written on it. And allegedly, she once found the doll leaking blood. They would also, I don't know, they used to find it. They would leave it in a room somewhere. They'd come home and it would be stood next to like the dining room table, stood up. And this doll physically couldn't stand. It's like a raggedy doll.
I was gonna say it's a Raggedy Ann doll, like the original. It's so different. When I saw what the actual and I'm sorry to be cutting in on you. I do apologize. Is when I saw the real one for the first time, I was like, oh, that's even scarier because like had a doll like that when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And it's like
You guys want to hear something true with creepy?
Look what I've done. I'm sorry, Tom.
You guys want to hear something quick about my encounter with the Raggedy Ann doll? There was we have a town that's called Wilmette, which is about 20 minutes from where I live. And Wilmette is a very historic town. It's where Northwestern University is located. A lot of the houses you can see were probably built somewhere between the 1860s up till probably about the early 1920s, let's say. So you got houses that are 100, 150 years old. And I used to be going to this friend's house of mine on one of these historic. In other words, this is where all the rich folks pretty much lived. So they're all giant mansions. So we're driving down the road. We're going back to my friend's house. And every time we go through it, I always admire these historic houses because they're just so historical. Even the roads are still cobblestones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they really stick to the historic, nature of the town. But we're driving by, I'm looking at all these houses, and then all of a sudden we drive by one house and it has one of those what are those? They're like the towers, like they're like balconies, like they're like towers with around it. Yeah, there's a name for it. I can't remember what they call them. But I noticed there's something standing in the window. And by the way, this is during broad daylight, so honestly, this probably was even creepier seeing this during the day than at night. Definitely. So I see something standing by the window. I think, well, it's probably just one of the, somebody probably just standing outside the window looking out. As we get closer, I could see a little bit closer that I could see red hair. I could see a smile on it. I literally, like, my eyes just went huge. And I literally jumped down to my seat. I'm like, gosh, damn. And they're like, what? I'm like, Annabelle's in the window.
That's funny.
They literally left it standing at the window looking down on people. And that freaked me the hell out. Normally, I'm not afraid of dolls, but that day I was.
If anyone hasn't seen it, just search like Annabelle, the original doll in Ed and Lorraine's occult museum, and it is a genuine doll. The story is true apart from the film. I don't know, I obviously haven't seen the film, but you guys probably have. But the story is true. This doll is haunted. It's presumably possessed by a little girl that has a demon attached to her. and the demon is using the little girl and the doll to affect other people. And it has been linked to actually the death of somebody. There was a couple that went to see this doll. Story goes that the lad who was with the girl, he started to taunt the doll and say, "You're not real, you can't hurt me," and all this. And
he was warned not to as well.
Ed actually warned him, "Please don't do that." And he actually asked him to leave in the end because he says, "You don't know what you're messing with." The guy leaves. They get on a motorbike, the couple, and a few miles down the road, they crash and hit a tree. The man was killed instantly, and the girl survived. But she had serious injuries.
Really? I was not aware of that. That's insane. That's insane.
All too well. Yeah.
Wow.
It was actually responsible.
It was the same day. It was like right after
right after they left.
Wow, man.
There's a priest that was involved at the beginning of the story who tried to we went to the family to try and help him with this doll. He didn't think it was that he took it away in his car, and apparently he struggled to keep control of his car.
Yeah, that was in the movie, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, it was. I think it was.
Okay.
There you go. And that is true. He did actually do that. I believe he did actually have a minor accident as well, but obviously nothing major happened.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He survived, though. I know that.
Yeah.
He could have died, too.
Is it like before we get onto the film though, quickly just while it's in my mind, if people do see this doll on eBay, I've seen it many times. Who's gonna say it? Do not buy it, they are fakes. There's only one original doll that's in this museum,
and it's in a case, right? That says like do not touch or like don't.
It's a glass case that do not open.
Yeah, it's do not buy it, please, because it is fake.
They won't sell it. It's gonna stay there.
Yeah,
no,
so it should.
There's only been one time they ever took that doll out, which was the Warrens' son-in-law, Tony Sparrow. They had exorcists. They had a few other, priests that were there. The reason why they took her out was because the glass case that she was in was starting to fall apart. So they needed to, make a much larger and stronger case that would last for, of course, for years. And they actually, you could probably find the video on YouTube because I do remember seeing it on YouTube. But Tony Sparrow's documentary saying, this is something we normally don't do, but what we're about to do is we're just going to take it out and put it in its new case and hopefully make sure we never have to take it out of this cage again.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the brand new case.
Yeah.
And when they took her out, not only were they, saying all these prayers, they had holy water, they had Bibles with them, crucifixes. Tony Sparrow, either was Tony Sparrow or one of the priests, they actually had to put gloves and wrap a towel around it, almost like as if they were handling like something poisonous.
Yeah, something.
They
Wow.
grabbed it and then put it right in the cage, and they said another prayer to keep whatever may have been, temporarily released back into the doll and into the case. So I think
it's on the Ghost Ventures.
Yeah, so Ghost Ventures have just released one also that they obviously what Zach's like. He manages to get hold of these things. They did the guy who owns it now did take it to his museum.
oh God.
Yeah, over lockdown. This guy, like exactly what you were saying, Nick. This guy had gloves on and everything. He had holy water, and he was very. I'll take this off the screen so I can see you guys a bit better. He was very adamant. Do not touch the doll. He says you can do what you want around it. He says do not touch the doll.
What did he do?
You know what Zach Bagans is like.
He went like that.
He touched it.
He was on his hands and knees, and he grabs the foot. And
Well, he goes like that. He kind of like brushes it ish.
Like it's a joke to him.
go and see
Wait,
2 seconds.
Are we like in a horror movie now? Did something creepy just happen on Tom and Amy's side? Because I'm locking my door right now. I couldn't stop staring at the doll's eyes either. That was like, I'm glad you switched the picture off of there. And I'm just like, I can't stop looking at your eyes. That's just very creepy.
My present.
You're not supposed to have them.
It's my present.
Forget it. It's just the oh, never mind.
Oh my God! All right, I can unlock my door now. Thanks, guys. Jeez.
Okay.
Old man, a heart attack here.
I can't remember what I was saying now. That just took me right off my thought.
We were talking about Annabelle when Zach was handling the doll.
Yes, so he does actually touch it, and like he says he did it. He didn't know he did it. He says that something possessed him to do it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, right. Come on. He uses that all the time.
I did feel sorry for the guy who owns it because he was really annoyed and quite pissed off.
He left, didn't he?
And I think it was quite
yeah.
because this guy, he's brought it to you under the terms of you said you would not touch it, you treat it with respect and that, and then you go and disregard that and actually grab it. I mean, come on, have a bit of respect, but it is a real goal. It does exist.
He only does it though because when you watch him, he actually looks back at the camera and then goes like that.
Yeah, to see if it's actually being filmed.
So it's like, come on.
Yeah, got their own takes on it, but go on it.
I don't think Zach seems to realize, his museum that he makes, and I recently have spoken to a few people about this. He thinks he officially owns all these possessed items, when in reality, that's not really the case. It's almost more or less like he's kind of renting them. These people who have sold these items, supposedly sold these items to Zach, they only gave them to him only under the condition that, just like with Annabelle doll, that he treats them with respect, take care of them, because if he doesn't, they're going to take them back. They're not officially his. They're still technically his. They're just basically, like I said, it's more of like renting them out than actually buying them. So I'm surprised they haven't taken it back sooner. And with all the other items.
Yeah, it's a lot. He doesn't he hasn't physically paid for a lot of them. It's more like they store them there, don't they? And under
storage area.
Yeah. And like you say, it's more just out of respect, so that they're in a safe place where people can see them without them harming other people. But anyway, we're divulging again. But the film Annabelle, have you guys? Adam, have you seen Annabelle?
I've seen Annabelle. Yes, I can't recall whether or not I've seen the next two. I want to say I did because I remember trying to get in. I used to live in Connecticut for a while. And I've always known about the Warrens. The Warrens are just like, if you lived in Connecticut, you know who the Warrens are. I mean, it was before the internet. You know what I mean? Or when you had Netscape, but you were running on a rotary phone and stuff like that. So the internet was basically a potato at the time. But if you knew the Warrens, you knew the Warrens. So they were always fascinating. So I always tried to watch as many of the movies as possible, but then for a long time it seemed like there was just every single movie that was coming out was based on something that involved them, and I'm just like, okay, I can't keep track at this point. I'll watch them soon, and here we are, years later, and I'm like, oh yeah, still probably haven't seen those. Yeah, but I do recall creepy dolls are huge. I had a lot of friends growing up that just would be terrified of dolls, and specifically actually Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls. I think it's something just about the giant eyes. Yeah, it's I don't know.
It's very similar to, actually, I don't know if anyone's seen it. It's similar to The Boy. Has anyone watched that one yet?
The Boy, yeah, I've seen The Boy. I saw the first one, but I didn't see. I know the second one didn't get the best. But I saw
no, it's not very good, to be honest. The first one, I think they should have just left it as the first one, to be honest.
Isn't it based on
I agree.
Oh, wait a minute. Was that the one where the parents, they were a very affluent, older couple, and they talked, the woman comes to help with the kid, and it turns out that it's a doll and stuff. Okay, I have seen that one. Okay. See, I don't even know what I've seen. This is embarrassing.
That was with what was her name? Lauren Cohan from The Walking Dead.
There you go.
You will never speak that show's name again in my presence, good sir.
Really?
No, not at all. I thought it was great at first, and then just kind of. But
I can promise you right now, I haven't really watched it for the last 4 years, so I'm kind of with you on that too.
The comics were awesome.
Yep.
Dawn doesn't like dolls because of Fall Guys.
Oh. Wow, are you paying her to do segues into other movies on this? That's pretty good.
Just a quick point what Dawn said at the top of that while we carry on, that she thinks the bad's going to happen to Zach, and I agree.
What is it? His eyes affected.
You play with fire, you're going to get burned. Hi, Jackie. Thank you very much for jumping on. Awesome for you to be on. Thank you so much.
What's he wearing now, glasses-wise?
No, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to, and specifically, Jackie stuck out in my head because it is very late where you are right now. And that's really cool that you're watching. So thank you, and happy birthday too. My brother's watching. It's his birthday, so.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
He thought he was gonna get away, and I wasn't gonna get him.
What time is it over there, Jackie? If you could let us know, please. Bless you. It's like probably 4 or 5 in the morning or something like that. That's crazy.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm not sure.
I think it's 3:45 in the morning. Yeah. I think they're 12 hours.
Yeah, they are. I'm looking up right now, but there's different times. I'm not exactly sure which one. It depends where she was.
So it's 7:45 a.m. Oh wow, I was way off.
Starting their day.
Wow, really early. We're just going
That's why I do YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, these dolls and these films like The Boy and Annabelle, they are the extreme cases of dolls, of what dolls can do. We've got loads, but like I say, we've just bought 2 more. If you didn't know these dolls in this house and you lived here, you wouldn't even know. It's that so subtle.
You do have a nice collection, might I add.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
I like particular ones. I don't like ones that look a bit
when we're
scary.
we're looking at like descriptions of them. You like all the like the nice like that, the kids, the playful and that. I love
you have the line somewhere, you know.
We do have that.
It was like he kept on saying, "Oh, let's get a divot box, get a divot box." I'm like, "No, I do not want one in the house, thank you."
If anybody's got a divot box, please tell me, and I'll buy it. But yeah, so like I say, it's not something Annabelle is the extreme cases.
Yeah.
It's very rare that dolls can get to that kind of level of actual hauntings.
Now there's no like they don't discriminate, right? There's no like in your opinion, is there like one sort of object? And this is for all 3 of you guys. Is there one do they gravitate towards more one certain object of being imbued with these powers rather than another? Like, you know, the dolls as opposed to like a pen or something like that? Or, you know, are there certain types of objects that have that tend to have more of a haunting about them? Or is it just anything?
It's a pretty good question. Tom and Amy, if you want to go first, go right ahead.
Okay. What's your? I've got my own opinion on it, but what's yours?
I think it's a type of material that's they basically attach themselves to.
A type of material, okay.
So for me, I would say it's things like porcelain because it's very porous, but also it's very common as well that limestone are big conductors of energy, which can obviously attach. I think as well, even dolls that are being made from that person's hair, can have.
Something with like a personal touch to it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Don says mirrors. That's a good one.
Mirrors
have always been one.
But I think if it's an item that they loved and it's their favorite item and they've touched it and it's got their residue on it and it's you know, anything like that, I think can attach. But not just because they attach themselves to it as well doesn't mean necessarily you're going to get anything from it. It might be the fact that if you're getting a lot from them is because they've not accepted that they've moved on. They're not ready to move on, or they were just a bad spirit maybe in the past, or they just want to have their voice heard, their message. But yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm a big believer in like people have heard of the stone tape theory. So like how buildings are built out of stone have more hauntings because they believe that the stone and the natural elements absorb energy. And the basic going is that humans and anything living has an energy. And as we go about our daily lives, we leave residue of energy around. And the idea is that the stones, like the brick walls and stuff, absorb that energy. And then over time, it releases it. So if you're there in 100 years' time and the conditions are exactly the same as that day 100 years ago, it will almost replay that event sort of thing.
Okay.
That's the kind of theory. And I do think that also with dolls, I think because they look so human and so real, I think when your spirit releases from that body, if you want to stay around, You're hardly
You
going to go.
you take like a humanoid figure, something that would best represent how you remember yourself in real life. And I absolutely subscribe to that energy way of thinking. I'm not a religious guy at all. Never really have been.
Yeah.
But as far as energy goes, it just like makes sense, man. Like it just absolutely makes sense. You know,
What Dawn said about mirrors and stuff. I think that's also the
Yeah.
same thing. Like when you look in the mirror, that's your image is in that mirror. It's almost like recording your image in that same stone tape theory with your energy, and that's why people use them for scrying and things like that. And I've done it once with mirrors, and
we've actually got a scry mirror that we've actually
we've got one in our collection. And I was never a big believer in this scrying thing. I just thought it was a load of hocus and stuff that you do. So I thought I'd give it a go, and it was actually at your mum's house, wasn't it? That is actually quite haunted.
Oh, and wow!
I stared into this mirror, and I thought it was in a dark room. It wasn't pitch black. I mean, you could still partly see. I'm staring in this mirror, and for some reason, I started like swaying, and almost I couldn't control it. And I started almost rocking, almost in a complete circle, and it was getting quite violent. And I can't explain that. And my image in the mirror, it wasn't my outline anymore. It was almost like when it goes back to the shadows and stuff like that. It was almost like I wasn't there. It was a shadow of me in the mirror. It's so hard to explain.
That's creepy. No, I'm sure. Just real quick, the gentleman I was talking about earlier, my buddy Marty, who is involved in a lot of paranormal stuff, and his mother does a lot of paranormal work, is Sawyer Snipes down there in the chat right now. What's up, Marty? These are people you need to connect with right here. These fine folk right here.
Thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you so much. If you got any questions, drop them in, please.
That's one thing I was actually thinking as well. Actually, if you notice as well, when we look at things, we look directly for an image, a face. We always try to track something. So that's probably another reason why they do latch onto dolls.
And
it's because we do
like say,
face.
And I think as well, dolls. And people say, "Oh, why is there no like new spirits in dolls? Like recently died people in dolls." I think it's because dolls aren't really common nowadays with kids, and
that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
We get Xboxes and stuff like that nowadays. Like,
can you imagine being attached to an Xbox?
Yeah, who could imagine that kind of thing?
Or a simple iPhone or something.
Exactly. I mean, you never know. In 100 years' time, people might be collecting haunted iPhones or something.
I actually have a haunted phone. This actually is really good at making drunken texts to my ex-girlfriends. I don't know how it happens. I wake up and
can't explain it.
It's amazing. It blows my mind.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Nick, what's your thoughts on this?
Yes, please, Nick. This I'm very interested in.
Well, I just want to say, first of all, this whole story about the mirrors, there actually is a story I could think of. I mean, not that I've encountered, but I researched. It's actually someone who was well known who passed away like over 60 years ago. There was actually a hotel that was called near Hollywood, actually called the Knickerbocker Hotel, and that was a hotel where it had a lot of famous guests. One of them was Marilyn Monroe, who stayed at the hotel, and she, unfortunately, she died at a young age in 1962, but the room, I believe it was the room that she stayed in, people have actually claimed that if they actually stare into the mirror, they'll actually see the outline of her image occur. So Marilyn Monroe, let's put it this way, she has never truly left the Knickerbocker Hotel. So she's still there.
Wow.
Is that a place that Ghost Ventures have been to?
Probably. I've actually heard that as well, like that.
I've heard of that place, yeah.
And I think as well with these like celebrities and stuff, because almost I'm going to really explain this badly, but because they're like got celebrity status, their energy is almost higher because more and more people around the world are talking about them, and
and you never die as long as people remember you. So yeah. that's fair.
the same with like Elvis Presley and Michael Jackson, people like that. Like people say they see them, that they hear them. It might not be physically them, their physical spirit, but maybe because people are talking about them and thinking about them and listen to their music so much that you're manifesting their image.
You're keeping going.
You're keeping that image. That image doesn't always have to be in one place at one time. It can be in several places at the same time. I'm a big believer in that. That it depends on if you've got that higher celebrity status, that you can. It's easy for you to manifest if it makes sense to anybody out there.
Yeah, I think in some way it's like as long as people are still talking about some type of particular individual, whether they were an actor, an actress, a singer, a writer, or somebody who invented something, or even a president, they're always, they're going to still be somewhat around. I mean, like, and the reason why I say president, for example, is like when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated back in 1865, shortly afterwards, his wife claimed that he saw, his ghost walking around, and there's even still reports around the area that he lived in that he's still been seen, every once in a while. And of course, obviously, that's still being taught in history classes and history projects, and documentaries and movies. So,
his birthday is today too.
Yep, his birthday. and plus, living here in Illinois, he came from Illinois. So, as long as this is he's still being spoken about, I got a feeling he's probably still around, just not physically.
Definitely.
Nick, do you know if there's another show on after ours?
I know I had wait a minute, it was a while back. I was given a schedule a while back, but I do not know if there is. So
because we are going to run over slightly, that's all right, isn't it? We run over.
Yeah, about 4 minutes. I know I've been keeping an eye on the clock, so. Yeah,
we're coming to the end. But, we can talk about that. I will get on to one of Adam's favourite films. He's probably knows what I'm going to mention.
He's looking like, no, I don't.
He's like,
well, I have no idea. This is quite the surprise to me.
me fingering out a battery, but I'll get there. So, Poltergeist.
Of course, Poltergeist.
What
love this movie.
Classic.
So, the plot of 1982 classic Poltergeist was based in the Herman family of Long Island, New York, who claimed to be haunted by a poltergeist that made objects fly through their home. The Herman family eventually moved away, but maintained the house was haunted.
You had to choose like one of the creepiest thumbnails or pictures for that. So if you don't like clowns and you don't like dolls, there you go, kids. Or bad 80s haircuts. There you go.
I apologize to anyone who are watching this and now can't sleep tonight.
Yeah, that movie was absolutely, and I love that the movie is PG.
Yeah.
Because, the 80s, and you got a guy tearing his face off. You have some absolutely mind-blowing optical, I'm in your boat now, Tom. I can't talk either. Optical effects by Industrial Light and Magic. You have the whole, did Spielberg direct it? Did Hooper direct it? Because, again, a Tobe Hooper film. It was Tobe Hooper. Come on. Yeah. It was Tobe Hooper.
They directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Fun House and some of those
Fun House. Don't even get me started on that. We're going to go way over if we keep on this. But that was, and it's terrible what happened to Heather O'Rourke during the filming of the third one. She was that was very sad. She died way too young, at a very young age. Wow. And I don't know why I'm doing the Bill Clinton thing here. I think the important thing to remember is, but everybody was fantastic in that movie. It was scary. It made you not want to turn on the television. And it's got Craig T. Nelson.
Yep.
I mean, need I say more? And again, it was PG. And you would probably get, keeping that same movie today to get a harder rating for that.
We actually saw, it was my second time already seeing because I saw it a few years back, but back when I first started high school, during my freshman year, they were having a special showing for the Halloween season. They were only inviting the freshmen because we were obviously the newest kids at our school. And the movie that they showed us, which was outside, by the way, it was like a drive-in theater almost, but out in a football field, was Poltergeist. I mean,
Ooh.
I was like, wow, like how better could this be? See this movie, it's with all my friends in school. I mean, it was awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Freaking out.
And I honestly, until now, didn't know that was based on a true story. So again, thank you guys for teaching me stuff. This is actually really neat.
I have a trivia fact for that too, by the way. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Tom. I'll make this quick. Since it's based off of the Herman family, this occurred, first of all, back in 1958. But here's the other cool thing about the story. That story, after the first 3 Poltergeists were released, later eventually became the story, The Trouble in Scary Stories 3, More Tales That Chill Your Bones. That's the story.
Really?
Yep, that's it. That's the one.
That's crazy.
Wow.
They changed the names, obviously, in the book. Yep. He's got the book. Right.
I'm looking this up. I'm gonna have to bookmark that. Oh, there it is. Oh my God, look at that. It was literally bookmarked on the page. I did not make that up. Did not make that up.
Awesome.
That book is going down for now.
But yeah, it is based on a true story, and it like these poltergeist activities. I don't know so much about the clown, whether the clown was true that it was doing all this stuff, but it's basically, I say, the Herman family, that they had all this poltergeist activity in their house. It's crazy. To be honest, we are unfortunately running out of time. No matter how good the show is.
Got 2 shots out there. Come on.
But we always finish on a shot dark. So
Yes.
some questions here. Before you quickly get on to that,
I just looked as well. We're not going to go into anyone's recording. There's not until like another hour time.
okay,
Yes, it'll be all right.
so yeah, next week we are going to be talking demons and the side of like what demons are. We're not going to go too in depth at first because I've been reading about it in depth. It is crazy in depth what you can go to. But we will talk generally about demons and what people think of demons and the famous cases of.
And Adam, if you want to be on it as well.
Adam, of course, you're always welcome if you want to be on the show, please.
I would love to come back. Thank you guys so much.
You know what? We'll do demons/demon movies.
Yeah, I think we need to.
Let's put a little bit in there.
Oh, you don't. No. You don't have to cater me. I like listening to you guys. I learn a lot of stuff by listening to you guys. So you do what you want. I mean,
Yeah, we can always talk about like.
I just have one quick announcement to make just before we go. I'm actually going to be back on the network later tonight on the 13th show called The 13th Dimension. We're going to be talking about, because Valentine's Day is coming up, we'll be talking about the St. Valentine's Day Massacre of 1929 here in Chicago. So that will be on at 6 p.m. here, CST. Wait, what time is it over in your area, Adam?
So you guys are 2 hours behind me. It should be a little after 2 where you are, right?
3 o'clock here.
Oh, it's 3? Oh, so you're an hour. Okay, so it's 4:02 where I am.
Okay, so then it would, if you want to tune in and watch it later, Adam, that means it'll be airing at 7 o'clock your time.
If I have recovered from the video, I will do my best.
Sure. I'll send you the link just to be safe.
Please do.
What will I be doing then? I think I'll probably just be getting up for work then.
No, don't even worry about it. Again, guys, I wanted to just say thank you very much to Tom and Amy and to Nick for allowing me to spend the afternoon with you guys and have a good chat. Like this is awesome. I cherish this. Thank you guys so much.
No worries. It's a pleasure to have you both on, obviously, and after like the week and the stuff we've been doing lately and going through, this is what keeps us sane, and I really look forward to talking to you guys. Everyone in the chat, obviously, thank you so much for joining us.
But quickly,
it makes it. But yeah, we will finish obviously on the shot in the dark.
Yes. Oh yes.
Around 5 minutes, we are going to finish on. Now these questions are, like they say, a shot in the dark. No one knows the actual answers apart from me. They're totally random. They're general trivia. Don't take any of our answers that we say seriously. We're just having a laugh. We apologize if we do offend anybody. We don't mean to. We just everyone have a laugh. Ask your friends, your family.
If you want to give a guess in the comments, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, have a guess. So
you don't get a prize. You just get a.
There's a couple of American questions here, so you two have probably got the advantage in this one. But
maybe you'd be surprised how stupid I am. Trust me.
Okay, watch that, right. Right, the first one is, what percentage of American men who are taller than 7 foot go on to play in the NBA?
What's the percentage?
Yeah, so the NBA
Taller than 7 foot. I'm gonna say like 1, maybe 2.
You reckon?
I'm gonna have to go with 5.
You're too small.
Yeah, it's gonna be very small because, like,
Yeah.
I'm myself, but I'm only 6'2", so I'm gonna just say 5.
5%.
And that's for each team.
Jackie reckons 100%. Matt says 70. Sawyer says 4%.
What are you saying?
Oh, it's got to be quite high. Not many people are over 7 foot, sure.
Well, that's what but I mean, maybe there are, and you just don't see them because they're not on basketball.
Maybe, yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm going to go 12%.
12.
12? Okay.
80%. I reckon it's got to be high.
What?
It's got to be high. You know,
Okay.
footers are
We have a very wide range of answers. I'm very interested to hear it.
So it was closest. Yeah, I don't know.
What's that, Israel? Come on.
14%.
Really? 14? Okay.
That's
Okay.
12%.
Wow.
He was quite close.
Oh, she was good. Okay.
Yeah. Good job.
14%.
Amy will send you some Tom and Amy Paranormal Mystery swag just for you for getting that question right.
She did.
Complete guess. My psych
So
is coming.
40%. I thought it'd be quite a lot.
It was good.
Next one. How many casinos are there in the Las Vegas Strip area?
All of them. All of them.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to go with all of them because I've never been to Las Vegas.
Neither have I, but I know there's got to, man, I want to say,
Hundreds, surely.
I got
I'm going to say 700.
I got banned from a casino once. I mean, that's as close as I got to casinos. When I was
Because you weren't wearing pants, Nick. That's kind of a prerequisite to go in. I mean, I'm sorry.
That guy.
Don't take Nick to a casino.
Yeah.
No,
Sawyer 35, Rob says 33.
that's not a lot. I think more than that.
There's got to be hundreds,
500.
surely.
Yeah. There's a
Well,
lot.
casinos are pretty big. I mean, if we're talking like big and like just like little, I wouldn't go in there because I don't know who's. This is interesting.
700, 300 from Jackie.
I'm gonna go around 100. I like nice round numbers.
I'm going to say 200.
700. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking with 700.
I'll go
1,000.
1,000.
Jesus. I think Sawyer, you're probably the closest. I think.
And Adam, because
700.
No. Before the fancy said.
Oh, the 35.
35. Well, which one are you sticking with, Sawyer?
you told me that.
700 or 35.
Markness is 700. So I'm going to go with his. So
First one.
sorry you do when I'm 35, mate. There are only 40 casinos in the Las Vegas Strip area.
Okay, so Matt, Rob, and Sawyer were all real close.
Well done.
Well, what the hell, 700, man? I'm telling you.
I was bad with 1,000 then.
Yeah. Thank you for making me feel better, Amy.
We've got enough time for 2 more. Sorry, we've got enough time. On average, are people who wear glasses more academic, or is this a myth?
A myth. Trust me, I wear glasses again. 700 casinos. So
I was going to say it might have to be a myth.
I'm going to say it's a myth just because I think it's because obviously you're looking at screens too much. And that could just be normal TV screens.
So think of like
My eyes have been damaged from...
Yeah.
No, I can't
Screens.
say that actually because I did my degree and that's when I found out that I had problems with my eyes. So
I don't know. I mean, what famous people wear glasses?
I'm going to say it's a myth.
a lot of them, believe it or not, a lot of them. They just, it depends on whether or not that's their style or not. But this is very interesting. I'm going to stick with it's a myth.
Not a myth.
Matt says myth.
Sawyer says not a myth. That's the first one I've seen who says it's not a myth.
Not a myth. So
Marty? Yeah.
Marty, yeah.
wear academic, or is this a myth? It is.
Did you even give an answer?
Oh,
Everybody's saying myth except Marty.
Did you give an answer?
No, but I've already read the answer, so I can't give an answer now.
Say.
It's true. Everyone who said it's a myth, you're all wrong. It is true.
Oh, then let me stroke my handlebar mustache as well to be really bougie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a graduate now.
Could be a bed.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but I've got contacts inside. Must be intelligent.
It says here, a recent German study found that people who wear glasses are twice as likely to go to college as non-glasses wearers.
Well, I never went to college, so I'm a high school dropout. So stay in school, kids.
All the most famous people like Bill Gates, they were high school dropouts as well, so it means nothing.
That's true. That's true. That's very true.
That's true.
No.
Eminem, you start from
Eminem,
nothing.
famous presidents, high school dropouts, so it means nothing.
You guys are sweet.
I almost dropped out, but I made it.
I didn't even
Good on you, brother.
I went to Manila, like primary and secondary, but I didn't do higher education or anything, so
Just me.
I joined the army. So
That's commendable, man. That's like life experience versus like book learning. There's a difference, man.
yeah, and being a chef as well at the same time wasn't easy. But yeah, so final one. We'll go for the final one here. True or false? Per kilogram, humans emit more heat than the sun.
And kill it.
If you
Oh,
weigh,
wow.
if you have the same weight of the sun, like as you weigh, who emits more heat?
I think the sun does weigh as much as I do.
Yeah.
So you can't see below the camera, so thank God. But no, I'm gonna actually probably go with my knowledge of human bioelectricity and stuff based on my Matrix education from the Wachowski brothers. I'm gonna say that the person would probably. I'm gonna say the true that the human would. Did I screw that up?
Had a really good point.
Am I cool yet?
You can't just agree.
I'm going to agree with that.
Rob says false. What are you saying, Nick?
False. Marty says true. Okay,
So,
so
sways it more.
I'm gonna have to go with probably the person too, because I'm not that.
Yeah.
I just really not see it if it was like the opposite around. So I'm gonna have to go with the person.
I mean, I don't know.
To be fair, Rob Werther he's pretty knowledgeable on stuff like this.
Okay.
So I'm very interested.
He's only got two right there. We'll go. It's true, actually. Due to our much smaller surface.
It's true.
All right.
Yeah, apparently due to our much smaller surface area, we emit more heat than the sun per
Nope, I'm just guessing.
That's it.
Fair. I was trying to give him some love. Nothing doing.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just holding it up.
Show some
You won't, right now, you won't as much energy as a 40-watt light bulb. Wow, didn't know that. Learn something new every day.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's just a bit of fun. Please ask anyone, your friends, family, have a laugh, enjoy yourselves, guys. Again, Adam, Nick, pleasure having you guys on. You certainly make the show something more than what it is. And everyone in the comments, thank you so much for being on. If you want to see us do a show on a specific subject, either message us or drop us in the comments, and we will get around to doing that kind of show.
But the next one is going to be doing.
And make sure to listen to Nick's audiobook stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nick's audio box. We will put it in the link, or you probably will, because you're better at that than me. Amy,
Oh wait, how? Mine too. Wait a second. Hold on. Yeah, mine too. Wait a minute.
Everybody's links in. Everybody's links.
You need this too.
Nick's links are all in there. Listen to these guys. They know their stuff. They're cracking at what they do.
And also, if you're
certainly worth.
if you're in the UK, check out Ghost, the Haunting Nights.
Yeah, hopefully we will be starting up soon. Hopefully.
They do some really good different events.
Yeah, we've got 2 more dolls coming. We will be doing another vigil. What day are we on?
We're doing an unboxing.
We'll do some unboxings, and we're going to do another vigil tomorrow night with, I think, the clown doll, the negative one.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
So we're going to see what comes out of him.
I'll be doing that one. Then.
Yeah, and we'll do a bit of Ouija board. But yeah, we will be filming that, and we will have it on hopefully in the next few days. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us, guys. Again, next week we'll be back on. Good night, Lindsay Lou. Thank you for joining.
Yes, thank you.
Dawn, Sawyer, Jackie, obviously. Have a great day, Jackie. Hopefully it's not too hot out there. And we'll see you next
Tui and
Friday.
Eddie, gotta send some love to my family who was watching Tui and Marty, of course, like all my peeps.
Yeah, Adam's family, thank you so much for joining us, guys. The support is very much, very grateful for it.
Thanks, Sawyer.
Eh?
I'm Gal.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Amy makes me laugh when she laughs. It's funny. I don't know. It's contagious.
Yeah, so we'll see you next Friday, 8 p.m. our time. God knows what time it is the rest of the world.
Very 15 over here.
There we go.
And then it's probably 8:15 a.m. for Jackie in Australia.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So yeah, Jackie, we'll see you next week, hopefully.
Well, hopefully we'll see you all next week.
And we'll see you all. Enjoy your week, guys. Make the most of it. And obviously stay safe and stay well. See you later.
Stay spooky.
Bye, Morgan.
See you there.